Hi, I'm Rebecca Schorr. I'm a senior research statistician at Highmark Health. My background is in epidemiology and biostatistics. I have a master's of public health from Penn State, and I'm here to talk to you today about solution framing and the sources of value. So we want to really define what our question is. So as a biostatistician and epidemiologist, I think of the scientific method and how I'm asking questions to get really the bottom of what you want and how you can take it and look at different perspectives. So if you look at the same question 4 different ways, you might have different avenues to take for each solution that you're going to have. So we really want to define our question, and we want to define every aspect of our question. So which angle are you looking at at this point in time? So by the end of your project, you should be able to create a storyline that takes you from when you started, what your problem was, and taking you all the way through your methods, results, discussions, and then conclusions. So determine who are your populations, who are you helping? And looking at it one way, you just might think you're helping homeless people, but you're attempting to solve the chronic homelessness in the Allegheny County population. So who else are you helping? You're helping the University of Pittsburgh. You're helping the Allegheny County Health Department. You're helping any of the Pittsburgh businesses you can think of that might benefit here. Are you helping real estate? Are you helping taxpayers? You want to be careful not to fall into your rabbit holes here. To keep asking yourself who and what, but really boiling it down to what populations are you helping and who are your main stakeholders. Peel the questions back and don't be scared to peel them back. Your solution needs to have value. You should have an economic value, a perceived value, a relational value, experiential value, and social value. So being able to define what your outcomes are and what they look like for each of those values. Focus on what you want to create. What is your ideal outcome? And this doesn't always have to be the problem that you want to solve. So what's your ideal outcome? And how can you get closest to that? Focus on your outcome and your creation, but not your output. So we want to create engagement rather than a deliverable. We can sit here and make PowerPoint presentations that look great, but if we have no idea how we're going to implement that presentation, then we need to change our thought process and use our decision making. Focus yourselves on creating that story and creating those methods and telling a story with your science background. Frame it for the people who matter. So who are you solving this problem for? And how is this problem benefiting each and every one of them? Who are you working with to solve the problem? And engage the people who need to be involved. So determine your stakeholders and what their positions are as a first step, and define who is responsible for what sections, who is being held responsible for each part of this question and each part of this project. Make it meaningful. So when determining your stakeholders, find out what's meaningful to them. Something that might be meaningful to the University of Pittsburgh may not be as meaningful at Highmark Health. So thinking of, again, who is involved in this project and what you're doing. If you have to determine your stakeholders as Highmark Health and what's important to them, then think about that in consideration, in conjunction, and how to build your project. Again, the items of importance may differ between the stakeholders. So figure out what matters to that health department and how you can frame that, and then figure out what matters to the University of Pittsburgh. Keep your project open. We don't want to lock ourselves in with our questions and lock ourselves in with one way. We want to think about the perspective we're looking at it. It's just as if you're taking a photograph. You want to take the photograph the way you think you do and the way you're seeing it. But if you turn around and take the photograph the other way, it might be equally as beautiful. So just continuously ask yourself, how can we get everyone to work together to design and deliver the strategies that you all believe in and you all want to work? Be clear on how you know you'll succeed. Determine your endpoints in the beginning. Can you quantify your endpoints somehow? Clearly define your outcome and what your outcome means to you. What does your outcome mean to you? What does it mean to your group? What does it mean to your stakeholders? And then what metrics are you using? Can you quantify it? Is it in this case, is the percentage of homelessness what's different, or what your main outcome is? You want that to be less? Can we take those percentages? Can we quantify it somehow to know that we've succeeded in our project and that we can gladly say we've completed it? And what behaviors will you see in the community? What's your final product? So you have your metrics for when you know you've completed, but what does it look like when you implement something into a community aspect? Be willing to change how you framed your problem if new insights arise. Just continuously be flexible and take your new information as it comes. Your knowledge is power and your perspective is key when framing. So look at the problem from every angle you can think of. And again, just continue to think, what if? Can I see this a different way? Can I turn around and take that photo in another manner? So if we take this back to more of what the project is, we can answer some of those questions. So we predict homelessness. Is there an intervention that can decrease the probability of homelessness in a certain population? So your sample population right now is Allegheny County and the homeless population there. So what does that look like? Can we predict if someone's going to be chronically homeless? Can we predict if someone has unstable living? And can we predict if a patient or if a person is going to have to go into a shelter, out of a shelter, and have unstable living conditions? Unstable living conditions are bad for multiple reasons, and they really correlate with their social determinants of health. So if we can predict those, then we can try to make those create those interventions that help us. You want to be innovative and impactful with those. If homelessness has been a public health problem for quite some time, and how are you going to address this problem? How can you partner with Highmark and UPMC, the county health department? How can we take the time and be innovative but impactful? What sets our ideas away from what's already been done? Can your solution may differ between even areas? There's not a one-size-fits-all solution for homelessness. So you want to think of a dynamic plan that you can put into place and that captures the greatest amount of people in need. So making that plan, you have a skeleton plan, but what you put in the city of Pittsburgh might be different than what you want to put out into the suburbs, where homelessness is still a problem.